Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I'm an advanced meditator with more than 10,000 hours of meditation practice and the author of the book Theta-Waves Meditation. And I'll put a link to my book below. This video is about whether most mental illnesses are hereditary. This is a sensitive topic because mental illness has a lot of stigma attached to it. And although, yes, there are a lot of mental health professionals out there, but they often cannot pinpoint what causes most of the illnesses that we see nowadays. And interesting enough is that at any given point in the Western world, about 80% of adults suffer from some type of mental illness. They are functional, so I think that people, when they think about mental illness, it's someone that maybe cannot sort of take care of themselves, they maybe are unable to work or basically function in society. But most people are able to function while having, let's say, depression, anxiety, and so forth. So because most people are functional, although they have a mental illness, it's difficult to identify this condition upon meeting them. But as mentioned before, at any given point in the Western world, about 80% of adults suffers from a mental illness. So their illness is most likely not due to defective genetics, because when you think about it, if at any given point 80% of adults suffered from either diabetes or heart disease, that would be something very concerning. We would be looking at the environment for the cause. And I would suggest that people read the book Brain Energy by Harvard psychiatrist Christopher Palmer, because he actually explores this issue. He advocates for a ketogenic diet to either lessen or even reverse like serious mental illness such as schizophrenia. So he has noticed that when a person's diet has high percentage of ultra-processed food, the likelihood of this person developing mental illness is much higher. But Dr. Palmer argues that mental illnesses are metabolic diseases. So in other words, it has to do with malfunctioning mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells. So they produce energy, and since the brain is the most metabolically active organ in the body, whenever mitochondria don't work well, the first organ to be affected is the brain, and that actually is expressed through having a mental illness. But there's an aspect that Dr. Palmer has not explored. It has to do with the fact that mitochondria need oxygen and nutrients to function. But when you think about it, is that the body can survive a few days without water, a few weeks, even a few months without food, but we can only survive a few minutes without oxygen. So the first aspect to look at whether or not a person has a mental illness has to do with the fact that are they properly oxygenated. And unfortunately, because of our stressful lifestyle, most people are chronically stressed, so they hyperventilate the mouth and they are less likely to be properly oxygenated. I've seen people tell me within 10 minutes of, let's say, changing their resting breathing rate that the symptoms of depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and so forth actually lessen or sometimes goes away altogether. So what I've done is I created meditation videos with a theta brainwave frequency embedded in them. So people watch these videos, it automatically slows down their brain waves, and that actually slows down their resting breathing rate. They're better oxygenated, and their signs and symptoms of mental illness either gradually reduce or vanish altogether. So I'm going to put below a link to my 7-day free trial so you can test these videos and know that they actually work. In other words, we often hear that most mental illnesses are, let's say, hereditary, and that there's nothing we can do about it. But I would say that most of it has to do with the environment. So people have to look at their level of oxygenation and their nutrition to better improve their mental health. And I would say that a person's oxygenation is more important than their nutrition. Although nutrition, yes, is very important, like you want to stay away from ultra-processed foods, but oxygenation is key to actually give their mitochondria the fuel that they need to actually have enough energy for the brain and other organs. So let me know what you think about the content of this video by commenting below. If you like this video, if you learned something, please click on the like button. Also remember to click on the notification bell to be notified of other videos I'm going to be making. Subscribe to my channel and we will talk soon.